Have you ever wondered, folks, and Julie for that matter, what incentives make employees work a little bit harder? Is it social rewards that drive people, or perhaps financial ones like your yearly holiday bonus? Our next guest has it all figured out. Dan Ariely is professor of psychology and behavioral economics at Duke University, and he's also author of the new book, Irrationally Yours. And Andrew Robertson of BBDO is still here with us. Dan, great to have you back on Market Makers.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. So what works? Social rewards or cold hard cash?
Okay, so let me describe to you the experiment. Let's see if you can predict. Okay, so
another quiz. I failed
right.
Stephanie's quiz earlier this morning miserably.
Okay, so we did this experiment at Intel, the chip manufacturer, and this is a place where people come for 4 days. They work for 4 days, very long shift, 12 hours days. So they have 4 days on and then 4 days off. 4 days
and
on.
What job function?
They make chips.
Got it.
And what's nice about making chips is we can measure how many chips they make, right? If I try to measure your productivity, a little hard to figure out. But, you know, people who make chips, we have some output measure. Now, on the first day of the first shift, Intel gives them a bonus. They say, if you perform at this level, you make, let's say, 1,300 chips, we'll give you $25. You don't make it, zero. So it's a threshold. And then no bonus on the second day, no bonus on the third, no bonus on the fourth. 4 days off, back to the bonus. So that's what they do. We said, let's do a control condition. Let's have another condition in which we give people nothing, right? Just compare that.
Start with nothing.
Nothing. Then we said another condition, how about if we give people pizza?
Pizza.
Pizza, like a social thing, right?
Makes them feel good.
It turns out it's very hard for the HR department of Intel to send people pizza. Complexity is beyond me, but they agreed to do a voucher for pizza. So it's not exactly the same. But, you know, it's
no,
at least
because you're taking out the whole community environment of we're working a long day,
right,
but we're doing it together, and it's fun.
And we did one last thing, which is to send people a compliment. So we have 4 groups. One group is getting a compliment. They come on that day and they say, if you perform at this level, you'll get a nice text message from the boss. One group is saying, if you perform at this level, get a voucher for a pizza. One group, if you perform at this level, get $25. And one group gets nothing. Which one of those 4 do you think performed the best?
All right, let's guess. Let's guess. Compliment, money, voucher, nothing.
Compliment.
Compliment.
I'm going to say compliment, too.
Okay.
Definitely not the voucher.
Very good. So you all know, of course, it's a trick question because you wouldn't invite me otherwise. But here's what happened. On that first day of the first shift, all methods, money, pizza, compliment, worked better than nothing. And they all were identically better. But here's what happened. What happened on the second day? You remember, on the next day, there was no bonus involved, but now things happened. Why? Because the people who got money on the first day worked harder, but on the second day, they worked 15% worse than a control condition.
Whoa.
It's as if they said, yesterday I worked hard, you gave me money. Today there's no money, I'm not so interested. Right? So they went up, they went down, and then they slowly went up back to the control condition. So in total, by giving people this money, Intel lost about 5% of productivity. And by the way, that's the thing they were doing generally. So we went to them, we talked to the managers, and we said, look, your intuition was so wrong, right? You created this bonus because you thought it would help. Clearly, it not only didn't help, it hurt your performance. We said, let us maybe even change the compensation for the top management. Maybe your intuitions about that is wrong as well. But, you know, they were not interested in those experiments. But wait. What happened to the other rewards? So the text message from the boss went up in the same way and went down slowly but never backfired, and pizza was somewhere in the middle. Now, and you can see how if pizza was more in the social realm, like more like real pizza, it would probably look more like text, and if it was more transactional, it would have looked like the money. And this is the thing, you know, there are so many jobs in which we rely on people's goodness to perform at the higher level. We can't create a specific contract. Here is how much exactly you're getting. There is a lot of discretionary effort. And the question is, what gets people to want to exert more discretionary effort? And look, we have to pay people, and we should pay people well, but what gets people to do more discretionary effort is often not a little bit more money, but instead it's something that they care about.
But isn't this the problem with the financial industry? Before the crisis, when it was all about getting paid the most amount of money possible, then the crisis hits, regulators say you can't pay people anymore. They realize how much they hate working at banks and how poorly they're treated.
So that's the question of, you know, what was money is a function of before the financial crisis. And I don't think money was just money. It was keeping score. It was feeling appreciated. I spoke with a head of a big bank, and I said, you know, what happens when you give somebody a bonus of more than $1 million? He said, we give them the check, and we don't even smile at them. And I said, you know, I actually own some shares in your bank. I think you're not doing the right thing. I want you to give them a hug. If you can buy them beer and give them and get them more motivated,
get oxytocin going. That's what people like.
And he said, no, we would never give somebody a hug or buy them beer. I said, look, this is crazy, right? But here's the thing: money is both money, and it can be a substitute for lots of other things. And I think in banking, it's been a substitute for lots of other things, but we're not doing it the right way.
Andrew, does this square with the research you've done at BBDO?
Absolutely. Reason drives to conclusion, emotion drives behavior. If you can do things that will stimulate the production of either dopamine or oxytocin, you create a very positive
Is that what we're
feeling.
talking about, Dan?
That's what.
Creating an emotional
Give people
response?
a hug.
So you know, oxytocin is a very interesting neurotransmitter that gets us to basically have higher social coordination and care more about other people. And now ask yourself, how much of your job, or anybody's job, is the thought that we have is end-of-year bonus versus the thought of the year is, what do other people expect from me? What are the people around me? How do I facilitate them? And then this idea of complete and incomplete contracts, right? So if you really rely on the goodness of my heart, what would get me to be a bit more interested? Is it something that is delayed? No. It is something in close proximity, and it's something about the people around me. There's lots of wonderful ways to get people to care more. Money is one of them, but money is often not the most optimal one. And it's kind of a shame, because if you say, let's structure the enjoyment of people with money and other types of incentives, everybody could benefit, right? You could get people to produce more and be happier at the same time.